Taking it slow, taking it easy is at the heart of decorating here at Fig and Farm at Home. We are not trend chasers. We are not perfection pleasers. We are not trying to do anything other than be intentional, make really deliberate, thoughtful decisions so that you can make the right choice the first time, so that you can spend your money wisely, and so that ultimately you can create a home that delights you by telling your story with your style. So today's conversation is all about decorating slowly. And although we've been doing that around here for, since the beginning of Fig and Farm at Home, slow decorating is a design term that you need to know about. It is a concept that I'm not just making up. Friend, today we are going to talk about what slow decorating is, why it is beneficial, and how to do it. We grew up with the phrase, home is where the heart is, but our culture has shifted and now the message is, home should be Pinterest perfect. I'm calling BS on that message. Home, it's not about the stuff, it's about the story. And whether you know it or not, your home is a reflection of you and is already saying something. So what is it that you want it to say? Hey, I'm Danny, a former first grade teacher turned home decorator. Going from a dual income to a single income so I could stay home with my babies meant budget, like ramen eating, Goodwill shopping budget. And I learned a few things along the way, like how to bring big style to your home without breaking the bank. And I'm sharing it all with you. Tips, tricks, decor, and design advice so you can learn to tell your story with your style, where you can start living free from the Pinterest perfect trap and start living a life of intention. Welcome to Fig and Farm at Home, where we design happy living and where it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. So what is slow decorating? Well, let me tell you what it is not. Slow decorating is not taking action. There is a difference between staying stuck, not moving forward, and being really deliberate and mindful and thoughtful about your decision making. And before I get started talking about this concept of slow decorating, what I want to talk about is the non-action and what can happen when we absorb information over and over and over and over again. And, by listening to podcasts and watching YouTube videos and looking at all the pretty pictures everywhere, and we're just absorbing that information, there needs to be an overflow, right? That information doesn't do us much good if we're not practicing. And so that right there that I just described is not slow decorating. Yes, you can continue to gather inspiration. You can continue to make reflections and refinement. You can continue to make adjustments here and there. But there's a difference between that slow action taking and the non-action taking, or the just absorption of information. And I want to make that a very clear distinction here. So what is slow decorating? Slow decorating is really being mindful of choosing the items for your home that is very opposite of that quick push, that quick adrenaline rush, that quick dopamine hit of, I want to change now, or I want to find those trends. Slow decorating is choosing pieces really thoughtfully, really intentionally. And one of the things that I love about learning about slow decorating, that I believe it is such an alignment with how I teach here in Fig and Farm at Home, is that one of the things I teach is that I don't want you guys to set a budget. I want you guys to set a plan. And as we know the plan, we can then create the budget to go around the plan. And that doesn't mean over excess of spending. It doesn't mean, oh, Danny, you give me permission to max out my credit card. Absolutely not. Full stop. No, that is not what I'm meaning. What I am meaning is when you have an intentional plan in place and you know which things that you are going to do, which action items you're going to take in order to reach the goals that you have in mind for your room, right? What happens then is we say that action item, that cost $50. Okay, how much time do I have to then set aside in order to make sure my budget can accommodate $50? Is that a right now thing, or is that a I have to wait 2 months thing? No matter what that monetary value is, in slow decorating, there's time to stop, save, meet that action that made the biggest impact in your room first, and then move on to the next item, next big impact action item within your plan. And the cycle continues. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Slow decorating is, simply put, taking your time, allowing you the opportunity to really get to know your home, the needs of your home, the way that you want your home and each individual room to function for you, really taking inventory and stock of how your rooms are functioning for you. A lot of times I ask my clients, what are the activities you do in this space? What do you do here? And they'll list them off and I'll write them down. And then I'll say, well, are these furniture items, are these decor pieces, is everything that I see right now in that space, is that meeting the needs of the room in the way that you need it to? Is it working for you, basically, is the heart of the question. Who's working harder? Are you working harder for the room, or is the room working harder for you? And is the room doing its job? And if it's not, then we can start putting those kinds of pieces into the overall action plan. But getting to know your home is critical. So one of the first things that we want to do when we go into a new home, or maybe we remodel, is we want to quickly put it all together. We want to see the vision and we want to make sure that it's good. And that can be fine, but sometimes there's something to be said about taking your time and living with it, even with the janky, for a little bit, because you get to know how you want that room to function for you. Now, what often happens, and I've seen this way more times than I would like to count, is that there's that fine line between living with it and seeing how you want your home to function, and living with it and forgetting about it, and then putting all of your dreams aside for how you want to make change, and then oops, 10 years has gone by. And that happens too. And the idea about slow decorating is that it can happen for new homeowners, it can happen for renters, it can happen for people who have lived in their space for 10 years and are finally kind of waking up to the idea of something needs to change here. So wherever you are on that continuum, slow decorating is an approach I definitely want you to take. The idea behind slow decorating too is, yes, intentionality and really deliberate, thoughtful decision making, but slow decorating encourages really thoughtful choices in terms of how furniture items are made. So instead of choosing those fast, and I'm going to use fashion here, fast fashion items, you know the kind, right? Like we go shopping and we go to Shein or Temu, and those are quick. We don't know really the quality of what's happening in the making process, but they're quick and easy fashion. The same happens in home design. And there are similar items that are created in the same light. And so fast home decor is discouraged in slow decorating. And instead, the idea of choosing pieces that are, you're not only deliberate with your time, but you're also choosing high quality pieces. You're maybe aware of how they are built, where they are built, how eco-friendly the process is, what the materials are. Slow decorating is really very much in alignment with quiet luxury, and how the quiet luxury design trend is all about choosing items that are just a little bit higher quality. You buy them once and they're going to last you 50 years. They're so timeless and classic that you don't necessarily have to change them out, and they don't, they hold together. They're really well made. That's the idea behind slow decorating. Okay, so what are the benefits? The benefits are, oh my gosh, there's so much less pressure. If you think about you get an idea, you get a spark, maybe you get a new home, and this idea of, I want to make changes now, but I really get paralyzed by decision making. I really get paralyzed by and overwhelmed by all the amount of choices that are out there. Slow decorating gives you a little bit of grace and the freedom to say, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to make a wise choice. Yes, I don't necessarily like the way that janky little room color is hanging out right now, but that's okay. I'm going to get there because I'm going to make deliberate decisions and intentional decisions and take my time. Slow decorating allows you to have a lot of time for budgeting. You heard my approach. My approach is creating the plan, doing a lot of front loading in terms of work. So our credit card is put aside at this point. We are being mindful of what our design style is, the things that we have in our home that are working for us or against us, the things that we have in our home that are helping to or hurting the way that our home looks or feels cohesive, and removing it all. And then creating an overall plan. So we know the vision, we know the end goal, we have an idea of where we want to go. And now it's just a matter of figuring out what are the steps we need to take in order to get to that goal, and budgeting your time for each of those steps, budgeting your money for each of those steps. That is really the heart and the luxury of slow decorating. Slow decorating is anti-trend decorating. It is trend-proof decorating. So if you are desiring a classic home, if you're wanting a home that looks timeless, one that you don't necessarily have to go out and change it in 5 years, slow decorating might be for you. And then the other benefit of slow decorating is that you have the opportunity to mix styles just a little bit more, because when you don't do slow decorating, let me give you this scenario. When you are in that rush and you have just bought the home, or you've just woken up to the idea that you want to refresh, and you go to the store, because that's what we think we need to do. We go to the store, we buy the bed in the bag, and I am air quoting, the bed in the bag look. We buy the spring collection at HomeGoods. We buy the literal bed in the bag to redo our bedroom. When we have those decisions prescribed for us, it not only takes away the nuance of our design, but it makes our home look less curated. And the opposite of that is happening in a slow decorated home. Your home looks a little bit more nuanced. It looks a little bit more curated, and it allows you the flexibility and the freedom to mix some of those styles in a way that aligns with your cohesiveness, rather than these big box labels that say, those general style terms. It allows you to have that modern farmhouse table and have it live harmoniously in your coastal home, or it allows you to have that Scandinavian furniture that lives in your cottagecore aesthetically decorated home. Mixing those styles happens more harmoniously because you're very much in alignment with your aesthetic, not your general style. There is a difference, and it allows you to know what are those elements, the design elements that need to be cohesive in order to make those styles live and play really nicely together. Slow decorating does that. Fast decorating, it is quick decision, in and out, let's get this thing done, not necessarily the same thing. And as you can imagine, in that light, when you are fast decorating and making those quick decisions, sometimes you get home and you realize, or even 2 weeks down the road, a month down the road, wait a second, this doesn't quite work. Why is this not working? And you're second guessing all of the decisions that you've made before. And we don't want that for you. Hey you, I see you over there hanging out on the Pinterest pinning fence, caught between the land of inspiration gathering and action. I see the hesitation, not knowing where to start, and definitely not wanting to make any more costly mistakes. I see the desire for wanting a home you feel proud of, one that looks cohesive and like you finally got your decorating act together. This message is for you, the action takers, or the wannabe action takers, who are ready to finally finish that room you've been holding out on. On April 29th to May 1st, I'm hosting my first ever Better Than Basics Bootcamp, where I'll not only be teaching you how to identify your style and learn the fundamentals of creating a cohesive home, but I'll be fact-checking all of your work. This workshop isn't just for learning. By the end of the 3 days, you'll walk away with a clear idea of what your design style is and isn't, what is making your home look or lack cohesiveness, and a clear plan for what to do about it. You'll use my redecorating roadmap and the mood board I teach you how to create to finally finish that room you've been wanting to. So, what do you say, friend? Are you ready to take action? Join me in the live Better Than Basics Bootcamp happening April 29th to May 1st at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. Replays are available, but space is limited, so I can get my eyes on your work and my hands on your projects. Let's jump off that fence together. Are you ready? Save your seat at bit.ly/betterthanbasics. I'll see you there. So now what? Now that you know what slow decorating is and why it is beneficial to the overall look of your home, and quite honestly, the state of your budget, what do we do about it? What are the things that we can do in order to start practicing slow decorating? All right, friends, you just heard my ad for going to the Better Than Basics Bootcamp. And I can't stress it enough how important it is to understand your own personal design style. And I call that your aesthetic. There's a very big difference between knowing these big global terms, these style terms that are thrown out there for the general consumer, and knowing what the design elements that make up the things that you gravitate to all over and over again, that is the heart of your aesthetic. I can't stress learning that enough and how important that is. And in the Better Than Basics Bootcamp, I'm not only teaching you that, but I'm having you do the work to show me what you think are those design elements that make up your aesthetic. And not only that, I'm getting my eyes on it too. I'm getting my hands on it too. And I'm taking a look at those inspiration photos that you submit to me. And I'm saying, hey, have you thought about this? This is the design element I see. I think your design aesthetic incorporates these 10 things. And I'm giving you my opinion based on the work that you're doing. And I'm doing the same thing with cohesiveness, because what happens, friends, is that you are not able to create a cohesive looking home until you are in alignment with what your aesthetic is. You have to do one before the other. And when you can say, these are the elements that are hurting my cohesiveness, these are the elements that are helping my cohesiveness, then you're able to round out that plan that says, these are the things I need in order to make my room function. These are the things I want in order to continue to make my home and room feel very cohesive. Friends, that is what is happening in this 3-day workshop, this 3-day boot camp. It is like a boot camp on steroids. Now, what I don't want you to interpret is this is fast decorating. This is all the pre-work that needs to happen before you start making those decisions. And part of that boot camp is helping you understand those big impact changes, because friend, that is the secret sauce. Can I just tell you, the things that you want to do to reach the goals and the way that they align with your budget, oftentimes we get that so completely wrong. And when we make a wrong move here and we think, oh, I need a couch, so I'm going to go buy a couch, but you forget the other things. Sometimes the other things, even though they might be less expensive, they might be a little, what you might think, less impactful, there's an order to it. And I'm giving you not only my roadmap inside of the Better Than Basics Bootcamp, but I'm actually fact checking for you. Basically, friend, it's this. You have a guide the entire way. You have my eyes, my hands, my ears, all of it on your work, and I'm helping you very carefully craft this plan for your home with a complete mood board, with sometimes items that I'm going to help select for you, and giving you all of the tools to know what your design aesthetic is, the things I am going to pinpoint for you in your home that are not meeting that aesthetic so that you can then remediate those, and I'll teach you how to do that. Friends, a lot is happening here. It's a lot of hard work. It is a lot of good work, and it is definitely the prep work that needs to happen in order to reach your goals, no matter where they are. So if you have not yet registered for the Better Than Basics Bootcamp, I want you to. Spaces are limited, because you can tell in all of the work I just told you I'm doing for you, I'm going to be doing a lot of work for you, and happy, very happy to do that. It is going to be my absolute honor and joy, but I want to make sure that I'm giving my best attention to the people that are there, and so I am limiting space. So registration closes when spots are full, and I would love to have action takers. We are action takers not with our credit card. We are action takers with our thoughtful planning so that we can move forward slowly in decorating. Okay, that really is the first action item for slow decorating is sign up for the Better Than Basics Bootcamp. All right. Before I tell you number 2, you might be saying, but Danny, I can't attend live. Yeah, I know. Sometimes jobs get in the way of that. Dang it. And as much as I try to rearrange my schedule to allow an evening class, I am in the heart of soccer season and I can't do that. But what I can do and what I will do is I will make sure that if you are submitting your homework, I am looking at it, I am giving you feedback, and you're going to be getting that. So you will be getting that high touch experience, whether you're able to attend it live or not. Okay, number 2. When it's time to start purchasing, I want you to be an investigator. I want you to be thinking about where these items are made, how they are made, what are some of the materials? Are they sustainable materials? Is their practice eco-friendly? What is the quality? Will this stand up more than 5 years? Will it need to be replaced? I want you to be really thoughtful about the craftsmanship that's involved here. And that's going to happen in the pre-work. It's not going to necessarily happen at the I'm ready to buy stage, because you definitely want to make that wise decision. So you're just being mindful of how things are crafted. And if it matters to you, the business practices behind that. Is it sustainable? The third thing you're going to do is you're going to align your aesthetic and the way that your home is cohesive and the functionality of the pieces that you need it to perform for you, the things that you need your pieces to do for you. And you're going to align all of those with your budget. You're going to remember that we are not buying all of it at once, and you're going to map out a plan in order to say, this is the thing I'm choosing now because it's going to make the biggest impact in my home first. And we're honoring our budget when we do that, when we say, this is the goal here. And this is really one of those mindset things where we have to get out of the idea of saying, I want it now. And friends, if we can say no right now to using our credit card, if we can say no right now to ordering on Amazon, if we can say no to going because we get that desire, that is what is happening here in step 3. We're kind of retraining our brain to say we're taking a little bit of time here, and we're being a little bit more intentional. And isn't it great sometimes when you have to work just a little harder or wait just a little longer for the special thing? It becomes that much more special. Like layaway. Do you remember layaway? Are you old enough to know what that is? I was trying to explain layaway to my kids the other day, and all of my siblings and I played sports growing up, and I remember so badly I wanted the basketball shoes, and they, you needed new pairs every year because your feet grew, but also how much I ran up and down the court and jumped and slid and all the things. Yes, I slid in basketball all the time. My knees were very bruised. But what happens is you outgrow them, right? You use them out, you need new ones. Every September, basketball didn't start till November, every September, maybe even August, my mom and I would go to the shoe store. We would pick out a pair of shoes, and I would so badly want to take those shoes home. So badly. But Mom, being the wise woman that she was, she put, I don't know what it was, 10%, 20%, 25% down, whatever it was, to honor their layaway policy, 25% down. And then we would go back once a month. I would wave to my shoes. I would pet my shoes. I would say, I can't wait for you to come home. And Mom would put a few more dollars down in order to eventually pay off that bill so that I could then own it outright. Now, of course, I know now as a business owner, I know why layaway went away. I totally know why layaway is no longer. However, there is something to be said about non-instant gratification. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we could instill that a little bit more in our kiddos and practice it ourselves? So that is step number 3. Number 4. When it's time to shop, I want you to think about where you're shopping. Yes, we are going to be really mindful of how these things are made, but I want you to think outside of the box here, and maybe even outside of your comfort level. So I'm going to have you try shopping locally. I'm going to have you try shopping at flea markets. I'm going to have you try shopping at vintage or antique stores. Because, friend, if you go and you look at those, the way that those pieces of furniture are made in comparison to what you can find on Wayfair or Amazon or wherever those things are, yep, you are definitely going to see a difference. Think about all of the furniture that is in your grandma's home or Aunt Mildred's home. That kind of stuff is hanging out in droves in antique stores and vintage shops, and flea markets. So think about just thinking about where you can source some of these things that are a little bit more high quality that you will enjoy and will last for years to come, even if they are already 20 years old. Not only that, this is my very favorite source for finding things that are unlike anything that I would see at the big box store. It is instantly adds a charm, a whimsy, sometimes a curated look, because you're not getting it where the Joneses are. You're not going to walk into Sally's book club next week and see that she has the same piece of art because you both bought it at Target. This instantly makes your home look and feel just a little bit more unique. And I don't like the word unique, but I do like the word curated, and shopping there makes that happen. And then when you're doing that, tip number 5 is just be prepared to be surprised. Because what can happen when, not only when you're shopping those places, you find some amazing things, some things that you wouldn't necessarily have found, but when you are in alignment with your aesthetic and you know the things that you need in order to make your room function, and you know the things that you are trying to remediate in your home because it's not looking cohesive and you want it to, then you're able to have your eyes open to the possibility of these things that you might not have had your eyes open to before. It is and can be a complete joyful surprise. But I also want to say it can be, you prepare to be surprised too in the way that it feels to decorate your home in a way that isn't Amazon friendly. And I'm not dissing Amazon here. What I am just meaning is that fast, I need it yesterday kind of approach. And imagine the things that are happening when you are taking just a little bit more time. The surprise is going to be coming, I think, in the overall way that you enjoy your home, that you delight in your space, and the way that you can feel proud and accomplished because you, my dear, are the one who made it happen. All right, friend, that's it for today. If you have not yet registered for the Better Than Basics Bootcamp, hop on over there. Spaces are filling up, and I definitely want you to make sure that you save your seat. All right, until next time, I'll see you soon. Hey, real quick before you go, if you learned something new or found value in today's podcast, would you head over to iTunes to Fig and Farm at Home and leave a review and subscribe to the show? That would be awesome. And if you'd like to connect with my community of mamas who are learning to be intentional storytellers within their own homes, join us at bit.ly/design101 group. There's always more room at the table. See you soon.